Coming up next, Curries Corner. The opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of B1039, Up North Radio, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Time for Curries Corner with Pat Currie. Sponsored by Big Rapids Pennzoil and Auto Repair, Seth Winger and the Winger Insurance Agency, 911 Restoration, Gilbert's Carpets Plus Color Tile, and Benton Baker of Big Rapids.
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now. Good morning, Bobby, in America. How's everything out there?
Oh, it's wet and wild, isn't it?
Yeah, is there a song that we could sing that? Who's hurting under their bed this morning? Who's getting on the wrong side of bed now? Who got off the wrong side again? That's hurting somebody. Ooh,
I think you just did it. You know, we don't need to.
You know, it's so much easier to hurt somebody than to love. You know that?
Yeah.
You know why that is? I don't know either. I don't know. I think everybody.
It's easier to frown than to smile.
It must be. Yeah. Boy, I tell you what, I love the smiles this morning. Bill Shively's in, along with Bill Shriver, Jack Frizzell, Joe Bayshaw, the mayor.
Good.
Kim Wells, my favorite stud of Big Rapids.
Yep.
And Bill Torrey was in there. Do you know Bill?
I do not know.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Yep. He comes from a good family because of his wife, Jane.
Ah, okay.
Jane is not 60 anymore, and I don't think she's 70 anymore, but boy, what an inspiration she is to me. She's been walking the streets for years.
Okay.
Nowadays, most of them are walking.
Yeah,
I was going to say, most of the time, people are walking the streets to pick up bottles nowadays because our unemployment's at 25% high.
Yeah.
But Jane's not unemployed. She's a Morlock. No, she's a Bittner from Reed City. But today she related the message to me that she was surprised I put Bob Morlock up there from Reed City, his 80th birthday. And I said, she goes, how did you know Bob Morlock? Well, I told her I used to work for Gordy Gilbert, and back in the day, he used to make a lot of farm calls, and I'd ride with him. And Wayne Johnson's farm up there in the Mitchells and Morlocks were his customers, and we went up there a lot. And I got to know those boys up in Reed City, and they ain't no better people than that. And when he turned his big day, I said, by gosh, I'm going to put old Bob up there. Hard-working American, the farmer. You see a lot of those pictures on about the farmer. If it wasn't for the farmer, America wouldn't be here today. Yeah. Well, it's true.
Sadly, the corporate taking over a lot of farms, but there's still a lot of independent farmers and family farms, things like that. So,
I know there's probably drama as a farmer, too, but I don't think there's as much. You know why that is, Bob?
Why's that?
Because they're working all the time. We got to get people to work instead of pitting on each other. And
well, the drama is if the weather's going to ruin your crop and things like that. There's so many variables. It's a gamble every time you put that crop in.
Yeah, I had an interesting man coming on this morning, but he couldn't make it. Jason Kruse, I think's his name. Last name,
Okay.
I'm kind of groggy this morning.
I've heard
stuff that Pete Kent gave me to take this morning.
Okay.
Pete's not with us today, the poor soul. Had his knee done. I
wouldn't bring him out in this weather.
Well, not only that, but him and Lucy were in for a great lunch at Hooked at Curry's yesterday, and you could see he's pretty pale and he's in a lot of pain. So keep him in your prayers. He's still in pain. I don't know, the Oxycontin isn't doing what it's supposed to do, maybe.
I think they kind of wean you off now. It used to be that would flow freely, but after all the addictions and things like that, they get you off ASAP.
Yeah.
And even if if you're still in pain, I've seen several people, friends of mine who have had knee surgery, and they take them off within a few days and then, deal with it.
Yeah.
Basically, that's the attitude. So that's kind of sad. Take Tylenol like that.
Well, it's not like him because, Pete's kind of like a spark plug at the station. He's controversial as hell. He'll ride the fence on issues all the time, depending what side of the fence you're on. He'll jump over there.
Yeah. Well, I love him. I think Pete's attitude on a lot of issues is what's best for the school because he's now the school board president.
Right.
So,
you
have to keep it in that frame of mind.
Right. The hell with academics is how much money they can get.
Well,
no, that's not true. I got academics, talking about academics, Tim Heist, superintendent of schools here for many, many years. I don't know how good a job he does there. That's not for me to decide, or maybe it is. But I know one thing, he's a hell of a good basketball coach. He does a real nice job. My grandson Jack's on his team, and I watched him a few times. And last year I watched him, and my hat's off to Tim. He's very very good at coaching with these kids. He's passionate about it, and his dad must have been a good coach because, you learn from somebody, and he must have learned somebody. But he should be the basketball coach probably at the high school level instead of being the superintendent.
Yeah,
he might have a little more fun. Of course, those guys get their digs too, don't they?
Yeah, that's it. So,
yeah.
But he'd have to hire himself, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. He's done that.
Yeah,
but anyway, him and Jim Brown there, or Tim Brown, I guess it is.
That's a good deal, but
he's assistant.
Yeah, you really have to have an intimate knowledge of the game to do that, and to ref. I mean, I could never ref because I just don't know the game that well, or any of those games, football, anything.
Yeah.
To call penalties and things like that. So you gotta give them credit for that, and you gotta, if you have a child that's playing sports, or you're a spectator, or a fan, or a fanatic, you gotta let the referees do their job. And sometimes they'll make a mistake. I mean, but it's nothing you should take personally on them, because some people are doing that, and it's chasing good refs away from the business, and that's not good. So.
Well, anyway,
yeah,
we got a lot of great things going on right now in Big Rapids. Do you know of any?
Yeah, a couple.
Let's name one. Church on Sunday.
Yeah, church on Sunday.
Yeah, I listened to
what's happening at the parish there.
At St. Mary's?
Yeah, St. Mary's. Good stuff, huh?
Well, our priest is pretty unique. I know he rubbed some people wrong, but I tell you what, his sermons are the best. Last Sunday, it was all about God and where does he set in your plans in life.
Yeah.
And the priority of God over everything else. I know one guy took it that he said that God should be over family. I don't think he said that. But what he did say was, on Sunday morning, is God more important than going to a basketball game?
Right, yeah.
Because your kid got it. And then I was talking to a guy about that sermon yesterday, and he's right. He said, you think about it, what better way to get rid of God in your life is to schedule basketball games and baseball games and hockey tournaments on a Sunday morning.
Right, yeah.
So, I can't go to church. My kid's got a ball
Nothing
game.
got in the way of church services. Sunday morning was blocked out.
Right, yeah. But now you got... like last Sunday, they had a softball camp up at Ferris there that the kids went to, and instead of going to church, they could have went Saturday night, but had they known that was Sunday.
Well, the Catholics could. Most of the other denominations.
It's up to you, folks. If you guys, I got to tell you a real quick story.
I know church benefits you. You appreciate what church does for you.
Oh, it does great for me. And I sat there, and every time my wife will even tell you, it's directed to every one of us, every one of his sermons.
Yep.
And I also listened to your radio station afterwards, your Pastor Rob from Resurrection Life.
Right, yep.
He gives some excellent sermons, and his last Sunday sermon was a good one.
Yeah.
And we won't go into that.
Okay.
But do you have a copy of that? Can people hear that one?
Not for people. They could get it. I think on their website they have them all archived.
Well, he's a pretty good preacher, and he has a good word to speak out.
So if you go to Res Life Big Rapids, and just Google that.
Oh, okay, yeah. But Sundays was a good one.
Yeah.
But getting back to God, you got to put your priorities and rank them, and God should be first. And what's God? The 10 Commandments. If you follow those. I think we'd be a lot better world. This morning we were talking about the Goshen thing a little bit, just 2 minutes.
Right.
And not one of us got mad at each other. Some are for it, some are against it.
Right.
But we all are friends, and we started laughing at the end.
Yep.
And that's what we got to do, more of that laughter and unity instead of despair and sadness, or hurting people. I mean, words, this Facebook has gotten out of hand, just go confront the issue with your friend and be over with it, and hopefully you're still friends. But if not, you don't have to hate somebody over it. But to me, it's kind of gotten out of hand. I guess yesterday in the Pioneer, I didn't read it, but somebody said my name was in there and my wife's name was in there, and how she ran it at the Green Township Hall. What did you win by doing that? I
think what the person said in that letter was that they would still come see you, because they may not agree with you, but it does, because someone a few days ago wrote a letter that said, for all intents and purposes, boycott the businesses that don't agree with your political stance or your stance on.
Well, they've been doing that for years.
Well, yeah,
haven't they?
With your wallet.
Look at this radio station. Who the hell listens to this?
Yeah. I'm trying to figure that out.
Beep, beep. No, but and that's okay if you don't approve of what I say. it's okay if you don't come into my gas station. I don't own it anymore anyway. The boys are taking it over.
Yeah.
But I feel bad for them. What am I leaving them, huh?
Yeah.
But we've been busy. We got a lot of good people that back us. And I had a gal come in the other day, and she said to me, she goes, you know, Pat, I am for the Goshen. She goes, but I still come in here and buy your gas. I want you to know that. And I said, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. Appreciate that.
Yeah, there you go.
But so she's one.
And you have rec fuel, by the way. And so I was told to put rec fuel in my snowblower.
Oh, yeah, you definitely have
so
to.
So I went and got some rec fuel. You weren't there.
You have to have rec fuel.
Yeah,
in there,
because I had to replace the carburetor because the regular gas kind of gunked up.
Back in the day when this all started, they were starting to put meth in there.
Yeah.
And and that dries up a lot of things, and it ruined a lot of engines. And then all of a sudden, oh wow, we got to
it's
change
okay for
that
the
up.
car, you know. It's just that.
Well, they're made for it.
You put it in a one-stroke or two-stroke engine, it doesn't necessarily work good for that. But
why is that?
So
do you know why that is?
I don't know. I mean, I talked to.
Well, people want to know why that is.
Probably because it's got ethanol in it.
Well, but why? What's ethanol do?
Well, I don't. I mean, it's supposed to, make. It doesn't make the gas more efficient, but it stretches the gas.
No.
No. Okay.
No. I'm going to get to that.
On.
My guest just walked in. Will tell us about that. But
okay.
I do feel bad for Jason. He's a good little coach, and he's on the other radio station. He does play-by-play for the football at Ferris or at Big Rapids. But I told him he can come back on another time. And the reason I wanted him to come on there is tell us a little bit about what it is with these kids today and what the hell's going on with the parents screaming at the coaches, and all that. So we got to get back to the basics of life and put the kids in the garden. And get the old stick for a ball and a bat, you know.
There you go.
But anyway, I just want to reach out before we get any further and wish Denny Tassoni a happy 90th birthday. You know, that's a milestone, isn't it, Bob?
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
I doubt if you and I are going to make it that long, but God willing, we will. But I just want to touch on base with Denny. I posted it yesterday on my Facebook page, and I tell you, Denny Tassoni to me is a great human being. He was a great businessman since he came here, I think in 72, took the Sunoco station in down south of town, turned it into a muffler shop, brake shop, made his own pipes. What a guy, you know. And then David, his son that's passed now, he took it over from him and kept that clean floor. I just was amazed because we always had a garage, and our garage was never that clean. And now Michael, his grandson, has taken over the business that his dad's left him, and he'll carry that tradition on too, of cleanliness and good fair prices. But more importantly, they've always had great workmanship. Denny prided himself in doing everything the first time, the right time, and getting what he had to get for it. And nobody really was bothered by that because he did quality work. But he's such a great grandfather and a father. I see him at Zot's almost every Saturday to this day. Marge, she's not feeling that well, so she's staying home most of the Saturdays. But he's been a very good husband and spent a lot of good winters down in Arizona, but now he's up here, and I see him quite often. But he's one of those guys that we ought to emulate a little bit more. I try to. I've never heard him talk ill of anyone. And wow, what an asset for a human being, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyway, getting back to the gasoline a little bit, and then plus I want to thank our sponsors, too.
Yeah, we only have one more here, so why don't we take care of that? And
who's the other one?
We got Wenger Insurance coming up here.
That's who just
Seth?
off your pen.
Oh, hell, he ain't listening. He's probably over in Baldwin anyway. We don't have to have
He
we
just
don't have
dropped you off a pen.
We don't have to talk about Seth. Where's he at? Is he in here?
No, he's in the parking lot.
Well, why don't he come on in?
Okay.
He can't. He doesn't have time.
Okay.
Oh, why? Wife calling him home?
No, maybe selling insurance. So let's take this and we'll be right back. We
Seth Wenger.
It's 6 minutes before 9 o'clock.
Perry Street. Go for it, Bobby.
Seth Wenger.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Hey, there's a lot of good songs out, and I got a song coming up here pretty quick that sums it all up. But anyway,
he'll tell me what it is.
You don't know Linda Nielsen, do you?
Linda Nielsen?
Yeah, she was a grade school teacher at Hillcrest for a lot of years. That's a long time ago because they've been closed for a long time. But she's one of my friends, and her and her husband did real well in life. Jerry was a teacher, And then one day, Chapitz asked him to come to work for him, and the rest is history. But she's down in Florida, but thank God for the internet, I see her a lot.
Yeah.
Her words, anyway.
What are you rattling over there?
That flag that Seth gave me.
Oh, okay.
Pennant.
Cool.
Yeah. So anyway, she's posted something here, and I love it. It says, getting offended by something you saw on the internet is like choosing to step in dog bleep.
Yep.
Instead of just walking around it. Isn't that true? I try to do that. Hey, Jason, don't you?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I mean, you know, people get on the internet, on that Facebook, and they'll say something, and a negative, and so you say something to counter it, and the next thing you know, you're staying up till 2 a.m. arguing over what? Nothing. Nobody's going to win.
It never ends.
No, it's
tomorrow
sad.
you wake up at 6 a.m. and start all over again.
Yeah, you know, so I don't try to respond to any of it. So you folks out there, if you're listening and saying something negative about me or the businesses in town or whatever, you're not going to get me captured up into it. It's just not worth it. In fact, I think if everybody stopped talking on throwing stuff on there about each another, peace would come over everyone real quick, wouldn't it, Bob?
I think just to dial it back, a newspaper I used to subscribe to had a comment section where people could just post anonymously, and you should have seen that. I mean, now at least you have to have your name on it. You know,
right?
So if you say something bad about a particular business or an individual or something like that, that's your name. And it lives forever on the internet. Just keep that in mind. When you hit send, that send is forever. You can't take it away.
Well, you know, back in the old days, if you decide not to go to another business, the number one reason was...
the service.
No. What's the number one reason, Jason?
Well, I was going to say service, but...
Price?
Price. Thank you. High prices. That's what you'd hear from most people. Well, I'm not going to so-and-so's place because it's too high in price. Yeah. They got to come down in price. And that brings me to this.
Yeah.
I want to thank our government, because we always blame them for the gas prices.
Right.
It's down below $3.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, $2.99 at Curries right now. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Somebody's losing money. I wonder who that is.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, let's talk about gas for 30 seconds. I know it's going to be boring for some of you, but informational to some of you, too. I got Jason Kruse with me, the supervisor from Green Township.
Right.
The one everybody's throwing nails at, and other ones are bringing flowers to. So what are you getting? Are you getting more flowers than you are nails?
It's a bipolar job. It goes one way or the other.
Right, yeah. Well, first of all...
thankless in a way.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to apologize for the behavior of a lot of people. I know you're trying to do your best, and you haven't had a great transition, but there again, that's debatable on some people's tables, and myself is I think some of those people up there are really good people, just caught up in a bad situation. So I'll shut up from there. But Jason, let's talk about gasoline.
Sure.
First of all, let's touch on ethanol. I remember back in the 70s, Nixon was concerned about our reserves and how Arabs, embargo, all this, cutting us back and this and that. And then when gasoline got short, I remember my dad was allocated 30%. There was times we used to close at 1 o'clock in the afternoon because we couldn't get gas.
Really?
So ethanol popped up. Corn Belt in America, Wisconsin and Indiana, all the Corn Belts popped up and said, hey, we can make this into ethanol. And that way we can put it in some of the gas and fill up our tanks. But anyway, they sold E85 back then out in Wisconsin. I remember that. It was called red gas.
Oh, red gas.
Yep.
Huh. Yeah.
Nobody can dispute that because nobody knows if I'm BSing or not. But anyway.
Could be green gas.
Let me jump in here real fast and say WBZX Big Rapids. It's 9 o'clock.
But anyway, that's one of the reasons. But touch on E85 and what it does to your car, and then also a touch on rec gas, why it's important to buy rec gas. And what is rec gas?
Well, I guess what I would like to start out with is say, we have summer fuel and winter fuel, and those fuels are formulated depending on the season that you're in, whether it's hot or it's cold, and it's going to work a little bit differently in your engine and let your engine run a little bit better in each one of those climates. And then when you start to look at the different octanes of each fuel, then you're looking at, let's say, 93 octane, and let's say you want to go to something a little bit hotter, 96. Well, what it is how the fuel burns inside your cylinders. So as the fuel comes into and we atomize the fuel with the air before it comes into the combustion chamber, what we have to do is, pardon me, we have to make sure that it lines up with combustion and engine timing. And so what we're doing is we're bringing that fuel in, and on let's say like 93 octane, it actually is going to burn a lot faster, 93. And so what it does is normally it comes with a lower compression ratio on your engine, and we can adjust timing to that octane rating. If we go to 96, it actually burns a lot faster, and therefore we can advance our timing off of base time, which is 0 degrees, top dead center. And what can happen then is we can actually stick more air-fuel ratio inside the engine, and we can get a hotter pop and create more horsepower. But when you start to inject E85 operates more of like a hotter, faster burn, and we burn a lot more because of that. So there's actually less octane, I guess what I said BTUs, but let me say, in an E85 fuel. So we end up having to burn more to make up for the BTUs that are in a normal gasoline-based for full gas application. So so your mileage isn't there on E85, but it does act like a higher octane rating gasoline, so we can make more horsepower. And a lot of the tuner guys out there love to run E85 just for that reason, because it's more readily available than any kind of race gas out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's fascinating stuff. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it is, because, you go to the pump, we go to Curries, you see 3 grades of gas. It's like, okay, so why are there 3? Who needs 3? My car manufacturer said use the 87, it's just fine. But if you put in a higher octane, then you get, as you say, more pop out of it.
Well, those Cadillacs, some of the BMWs, those types of engines are built for that higher octane rating because they have a higher compression ratio, and they have to adjust the timing so that the engine runs appropriately with that higher compression ratio. And that's why a lot of manufacturers, when they build these engines in that fashion, they'll require you to have a higher octane reading and not to run the lower octane reading, because it just won't run appropriately. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
I want to reach out and 2 things, 2 very special people. Today, Linda Golden's birthday today. She's a Hope from Hawkins area. Married to Dave there. Linda, happy birthday. Have a great day. The other one I want to talk about is Frank Mandrella. He needs our prayers. He was admitted to Grand Rapids a few days back. He's got an infection in his leg and some bowel problems. So, Frank, we're thinking about you. And I put it on Facebook there on our sign. And my Lord, the comments are unbelievable, hundreds. I mean, everybody loves Frank. He great with decorating your yard, landscaping. For years, he's done Pete Kent's down there and the flowers at the church, and just he worked with Ferris for years, and now I think he's in retirement age, but not doing too good. But so we got to keep him in your prayers. His stomach's got some problems.
Oh boy!
But I want to read something here. Bill Banks put this on Facebook. If you don't mind me reading it, because this sums up what's going on right now. Maybe you ought to sit back and listen to it. The truth is that all of the stuff here on earth we work so hard to buy and accumulate does not mean a thing. At the end of the day, people will be cleaning out our stuff, going through our stuff, figuring out what to do with all of our stuff. Boy, that's so true with me. This stuff we accumulated in our life, the only thing of value that remains are the memories and what we deposit into others. May we all learn to spend less time accumulating stuff and spend way more time making memories. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, wherever you want to put your time, it's very important.
Yeah.
You can't get that asset back.
You know what? And when I say that, I think of Ron and Paulette DeVries.
Okay.
They are the nicest people. We have a lot of great people in this town, but I know I bring them up a lot here. But Paulette, just genuine human being, and Ron, everybody has faults, but they don't have very many. And I think the reason they live life to the fullest. Ron's been battling cancer for many, many years, but he stays positive, and I really enjoy his company, and I always have both of those people. So and there's a lot more people out there that I enjoy too, Bob, and you're one of them.
Well, I appreciate it.
I think you ought to cut your hair more often, maybe your eyebrows, but I think I love you to death. But anyway.
Try to keep it as bald as possible for you.
Yeah.
I look like a cue ball. That's fine.
That song, Perfect, you know that one?
Perfect?
Yeah, Josh Gobin. You know that song? Let's play that song in a minute. But anyway, Jason, everything else going pretty good. Tell us, you're from Manistee.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're Polish.
Mm-hmm. Well, Polish-German. Yeah.
Polish-German. And you're a Golden Gloves boxer and a wrestler. Mm-hmm. So why would anybody want to confront you? I'd rather have you as a friend. If you ever got mad at somebody, you could, I was talking to Bruce from Big Rapids Cardinal Wrestling coach. And, he's done a a good job up there, He's got some young kids come up. Most of his teams are freshmen and sophomores. He's got a few seniors back. But, man, that guy's done a great job. And that Sean Cassidy bringing those young kids up, we were talking about it a little bit last night there. And there's a lot of positives. But, boy, I never would want to fight. I don't want to fight anyway, but I'd never fight a wrestler.
Boy, and I've had a lot of my friends say this too. It's like, well, football, wrestling, or boxing, which one's the hardest conditioning? And it's like, well, pretty much hands down, a lot of people say, you can run and you can hit in football, but between wrestling and boxing, boy, that's just very involved. It takes your whole body. Not that football doesn't. By any means, it's a different skill set to play each sport, but it really does challenge the athlete. Yeah. Well,
Pat's busted up the studio.
Pat, yeah.
Okay. Yep, got it. Okay.
Holy Lord.
Yeah, are you okay, Pat?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
He
got really
got
excited.
Up and didn't take the cord with him.
Yeah, I didn't take that earmuff off. Yeah, you got liability insurance, don't you?
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Well, Lordy, thank you for your caring. But I am getting old.
No, but as far as boxing and wrestling, I'm so far out of practice. I'd really like to train at least again. But time has been pretty involved with family and obviously now government. And I'd really like to take a second here to tell everybody out there in Green Charter Township, not to get very, very political unless you want to do that, but thank you for voting the board on, taking a chance with us and allowing us to make the adjustments that need to be made to the township to run and into the future. So, once again, I've never had a chance to say thank you yet for bringing us into the office and giving us this chance. So I can't thank you enough.
Well, I know you're sincere about what you're doing there, and I think that the future holds a lot of promises that are going to be fulfilled. And it's just too bad, again, that people just can't come and unite on their differences and drop the ball and say, let's get along. Well,
and there's a couple ways to look at it. Yeah, it can get nasty and mean, but it's just like anything. This is how I look at it, anyways. If there is a challenge, or if there are people that raise concern about something, I mean, it really does draw attention to the issue and allows you to take another quick look or maybe a long, hard look at some of these things that may need attention and it warrants attention that it hasn't been getting attention. So, it's not all that bad when people come up in a meeting or so on and so forth and say, hey, what about this? Or what about this over here? And have we looked at this yet or considered this? And so, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. Now, personal attacks, no, thank you. I mean, that's not very constructive to anybody. If you take the person out of the issue and just look at the issue, I think that's really where people need to focus. When you start to attach a person to an issue, I think it loses validity, and then it turns people off. And then because you don't focus on the issue anymore, you just look at, oh, Joe over there, he said this, or, and even though Joe said that, he's probably trying to bring awareness to the issue. Well, I mean, once you interject that person, you lose it. So it's nicer if people, if they want to bring an issue up, just focus on the issue, whether it be roads or whether it be, sewer, water, whatever the case may be, taxes. Those are issues that warrant conversation, and we want to stick to the issues. That's all.
Yep, that's for sure. Just like yesterday, Bob, somebody told Jason that Pat Currie is the one that's holding this 220th bridge up.
I knew it. I just had this feeling that you were the bridge deviant.
And my brother's on the road commission, folks. It's John Currie, not Pat Currie.
All right, yeah, there you go.
So blame me for gases being higher, the road service calls record being late, but don't blame me for a bridge being out for all these years.
And now that you're on the road commission, I really feel bad for those guys over there in the road commission, and they really do take a lot of heat. They try to do the best they can to keep the roads open and keep them repaired. It's just that their budget is so limiting, and there's only so much in all of our townships that we can really do with actually really nothing. We can talk and work with the road commission and bring awareness to some of our roads and road pardon me once again, road concerns. But I think it was something like 1,300 miles of roads in Mecosta County, and they can't service any more than 10% of those roads a year. They just don't have the budget for it. I mean, as far as servicing, road upgrades, those types of things, and so those capital projects are really, they need help, they need funding, and I just don't understand why our governor and the state of Michigan haven't funded our road commissions in that way. We were told we were going to fix the roads, but somehow it seems like we've gotten involved in these other projects from Lansing, and it didn't seem like any of that money trickled down into our road commissions like they need to. And that's what affects people the most, right? You need the road to go to work in the morning, to drop your kids off at school safely. You need people out there maintaining those roads, regardless of what season it is. And that all takes cash. It takes equipment, and it's just and in order to make all that move, it takes money. So.
Yeah.
It's just. Well, did they say something like $1 million a mile for the blacktop?
Well, sure. So, some of these roads, Tim and the guys over at the Road Commission, they go through and they evaluate the roads for us in each township, and I pass the information off to our board. And as we're building our budget, we need to consider these as we're looking for capital projects to get involved with. And one of the biggest deals is the roads, and it's a big concern. And some of these roads, they're rated in a red level, either 1 or 2 or 0, that needs some major help.
And not just a grader to go across.
Oh, yeah. When they get to that point, it's like a tear out. And then you can pay anywhere from $750,000 to $1 million a mile when it gets to that. And you start looking at those things. And but they're tearing it out and they're rebuilding it, And so, unfortunately, that's where some of these things go. But
you appreciate the ones that are done, but you can't do all of them. And I know some people would like to have their gravel road paved over, and you can only do so much of that.
Well, and there's some of these projects out there too. Like I think that some of these roads can be fixed to a certain degree, maybe not the full length of the road, but even putting guardrails up or any of those types
of fixing a culvert. Culvert, that's a big expense right there.
Well, that's a huge expense. And hold that road together. Yeah. What's the shoulder look like on that road, and how's that going to affect that road after a while? So, yeah, it's kind of a big thing. So, it is a big thing.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday a young couple rolled their car out on the highway, and fortunately they weren't hurt. So as they were waiting for their dad to pick them up at the gas station, I asked them, I says, pretty slick out there, huh? And they goes, yes, very slippery. I said, well, that's unfortunate what happened to you, but at least you weren't hurt. So they were thankful for that. And I said, but, I got to ask you a question. I've drove up and down the roads my whole life, and I've never rolled one, knock on wood, and thank God for that. But what happened? Just kind of let's go through what happened. I said, let's start off with this. You knew it was slippery, right? Yeah. so how fast were you going? We weren't going that fast. I said, how fast is not very fast? Well, the speed limit's 75, and we were only going 65. So I looked at him, I said, really? Are we ever in trouble? I mean, come on, people, slow down. You know, the overpasses, too, they ice up first. Everybody knows that, but the worst thing you can do is use cruise control. Because once your car loses that traction, it'll think it's still got to go, go, go. And I saw an advertisement on the Detroit Lions game, which was a great game. The Silverado steers itself now. Mm-hmm. That's right. Mm-hmm. So I can just jump in that truck. No. And it'll take you where you want to go. No, it showed a guy with no hands on the steering wheel driving down the highway through the mountains. And I think, oh my God, that's scary.
No.
I would not relinquish that much control. You know what I said? I said, I will drive an autonomous vehicle. When every other vehicle is an autonomous vehicle, because you know what, humans are stupid and do stupid things.
Like, you know, the other thing I want to touch on too, being it's car care right now, make sure, of course, everybody knows if your battery's good. If it doesn't start, your battery's bad, obviously. Right. But a lot of people aren't checking the oil again. You know, Z-Bart there, or Z-Bart, Pennzoil, used to be Z-Bart Pennzoil. Yeah. Pennzoil there, right on North State next to Zott's Bar, south or north of Grunts Brothers. Yep. Zach and his company will check your oil for you and refill. I mean, just be a good customer to them, and they'll be a good service center for you.
Absolutely.
But Zach does a great job there.
Which I love.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I really feel bad for people because you guys don't see it, but being in the gas station business, I see it a lot. People come in and say, my car's ticking real bad, and my car just quit smoking, no oil in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, like, gosh, it costs thousands of dollars to put them on, and these people can't afford it.
Yeah.
And so I try to tell people when they come, do you want your oil checked? No, that's fine. Well, if we don't have the personnel to do it, go down to Zach and Pennzoil.
Well, and I'll tell you a reason why you really need to P-App on your engine oil is because these engines are built a lot differently than what they were before. We use different types of piston rings in the engine. So before we used to use chrome rings, and then we had some applications have chrome moly rings, and that's just the construction of the rings. But they're high. They put a lot of pressure on the cylinder walls. So as the piston's going up and down the cylinder, it scratches the oil off of the cylinder walls, and you don't burn as much oil. Right now, we're running a lot of engines that are built with low tension piston rings in the cylinder walls, and so what's happening is we are allowed a certain amount of burning of a certain amount of oil as the engine runs through the 3,000 or 5,000 oil interval. And so if you don't stay up on that, you can drop a half a quart really easy on some of these newer engines, and that's just the way that they're built and designed. So you really have to check your oil. And I always recommend this to the people that come for our service. Even if it says 5,000 miles in between oil changes, don't do that. Don't do that. Oils are formulated with detergents and dispersants, and they allow those, they take a lot of the soot and hold it in the oil, and then you drain the oil with these detergents and dispersants. But you need to understand that oil does get gummed up. It drops viscosity over time, and it depends even if you're looking at running a full synthetic oil, if your engine has a lot of soot in it or a lot of dirt, and you wait till 5,000 miles, that dirt or whatever will find its way and actually varnish the inside of your engine. And especially now that engines are designed with what they call VVT or variable valve timing, there's solenoids and in those engines, and along with actuators, and they can get gummed up, and then it can get to a very, very costly affair for you to repair that engine. So I always recommend, even if it says 5,000 miles, make sure you get at least, keep it around 3 to 4 and 4,000 tops. But I wouldn't go 5 or 6 with them at all. And it's just good maintenance, and always check your oil, because you just don't know how much you're going to burn and what state that engine is in, because they run high mileage now. I mean, remember how it used to be? It used 60,000, 70,000 miles. Hey, we're in for a rebuild. Right. And now it's 300,000, and people are still, now they complain, it's not running any longer. Well, It's just unbelievable. They are really, the engines are really built very, very well, but there's different strategies in each engine, so that all has to be taken into consideration, especially with engine maintenance. So.
Yeah. And make sure you check your windshield solvent, and make sure you have good wipers on it.
Absolutely.
I see a lot of people turn their wipers up at night. That's a good idea, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Keep them off there.
Tires.
Yeah.
Tires.
Yeah.
Tires keep you on the road. You know?
That's true too. Yeah. Tires, check those out. And, they're not cheap anymore, but then again, you'd rather spend $1,000 on a set of tires than totaling your car out because you had slick tires.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Yeah, especially hydroplaning and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Play that song, Bobby. I want to play this song for all you good Americans out there. I love it. Song, Bobby. Huh?
There you go.
I love that song.
I'll put that in Pat's playlist here.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, there's other ones we could play too, but we were just talking about the oil changes and all this and that, and the key is being car smart. Huh? Just being car smart. Mm-hmm. But anyway, this is kind of cute. It's a new world out there that we're living in. The doctor says to the patient, "Sir." Patient says, "Excuse me, doctor, it's ma'am." The doctor says, "Ma'am, you have prostate cancer." With this girl guy stuff going on. It's a little joke. But just thought I'd share that. Do we have anybody calling in today, Bob?
No.
Any first-time callers, long-time listeners out there that want to call in before we close the show?
Long-time callers, first-time
We have time for one call. Just one caller. Anybody out there at all? Do we have anybody out there that's interested in life that wants to expand on their radio?
We can give them car show tickets at the Detroit International Car Show.
There you go.
Yeah.
In Detroit?
No, in Grand Rapids. Not the Detroit. I'm sorry, the Michigan International Car Show. Yeah. So you got the ticket. So give me the number 231-592-1039.
A 4-pack.
We're going to do a family 4-pack, as they say in the radio biz. Family 4-pack for the first callers.
I want to say happy birthday to Carrie, Katie Carrie. She's my goddaughter, Greg Voder's daughter.
Okay.
She just turned, I think, 38 or 9, so she's got to 40 coming up here pretty quick. The other thing I want to mention today is the Mecosta County Chamber has a after hours at the Pioneer right downtown Big Rapids. It's Aunt Doyle.
Okay.
Is inviting everyone. You can meet up with some great people at the Pioneer and get to know them a little bit better.
There you go.
People behind the scenes, and then other business leaders here in town. Hopefully it'll be a big gathering. I'm going to try to get there if I don't forget. But Darren is the editor down there. I've known him for a few months, and he seems like he's really just a great guy.
Good.
So if you're not doing anything tonight, I don't think you have to. You can tell him you're in business, even if you're not. Just stop by for cookies and coffee or whatever.
Monkey business.
There. Yeah. But Danette Doyle's a big powerhouse down there in advertising, and she's trying to revitalize the Jack Batdorf days, I think, and Darren is too. So give them your support. If you're a businessman, get in there and meet some other business people.
There you go.
You'll like it.
Yep.
What else?
Good deal.
Ferris is on a string. You're winning.
Yeah, I saw the basketball team won, and good. Yeah.
Girls are doing a great job, too. Hockey swept Lake Superior.
There you go. Yeah.
And that's about it.
And
really.
what about them Lions? I mean, come on. It's
Yeah.
that's a big story now.
Amazing.
Yeah, the Elks had it down there, and the Eagles had a great group down there. The Eagles and the Elks are a great contribution to Big Rapids. They give a lot back. Charity organizations don't get any better than those two.
Yeah.
And
Did you hear about that up in Cadillac? The Ambets, they sold a $1 million ticket.
Really?
Yeah, at one of the lottery games.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. So that was up in Cadillac on Cass. Yeah,
Wow, that's cool.
So buy your lottery tickets at the local clubs.
Yeah.
They sell them. Good place to do that.
And
You
I
never
think
know.
everybody's be watching the games again. The Elks probably be having it. Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
And then
This
Zotzbar
Sunday.
open to the public.
Yep, she
Doug
opens
does a
on
great
Sunday.
job down there with a little bit of food and camaraderie with some locals. And I went down there last Sunday. It was a great time.
Good.
Big Lions victory. Doug just loves those Lions, as everybody else does. That Dan Campbell sure has changed around like no other coach.
Honestly,
it's
I
amazing.
can't watch it. I have to turn it off because when it gets tight, I can't watch it. I stress out.
I was sad to see Buffalo get beat, though. I was kind of hoping they would win that.
Well, I think it's because they want to see what's her name,
Mahone?
No,
Kansas City?
What's her name? Yeah, Kansas
Buffalo?
City. Yeah.
Baltimore?
No. The singer Taylor Swift.
Oh,
yeah, that's
Lord.
all they want to see is Taylor
Enough
Swift. They
of
don't care
that.
about the game.
Are you a Swiftie?
No. Long way. please.
What a distraction that is, huh?
The only Swift I ever see is on a truck going down the road.
There you go.
Taylor Swift.
Well, I don't have
First
much
rock
more.
and roll billionaire. Go figure, you know?
Well, I want to thank our sponsors again, Bob. Who are they? Pennzoil and
Yeah. Of course, we're going down the list
Baker.
here. Yep.
Yeah.
We have Big Rapids Pennzoil and Auto Repair.
Yeah.
911 Restoration. Which,
Joe, yeah.
You need Joe, this time of year, you get water in the basement or things like that, give them a call.
Yeah. We had him on here yet, Joe?
I don't know. Ask Jen. I think Jen's had him on.
Great family guy.
Yeah.
Just a real nice guy. Like so many other good business people in town here. They're just great people.
Yep.
Just great. He just adds to it.
Gilbert's Carpets Plus Color Tile.
Yep. George and Tom down there, great people and their wives. They work hard down there. They've been there for years.
Yep. And right next door is Benton Baker.
Benton Baker, Baker Auto Group.
Baker Auto Group is going to be.
Yep.
So,
Lenny Deshawn down there. He's a great friend of Mark Klump. Mark went to the game Saturday, or Sunday, I mean.
Yep.
I don't think Mark Klump's missed a game in years.
Wow.
But he
And
sure
of course,
is
Mike
living
McNally. We've gone back a long way with Mike McNally, so he's there, and happy to have him on with us. And Wanger Insurance.
Yeah,
Wanger Insurance is
good guy, good addition to Big Rapids.
Yeah,
Gives back.
bucket,
Got a great staff and 2 locations, Baldwin and.
right.
I think he's moving to Everett too, isn't he?
Huh?
He might be going to Everett too.
I don't know. I have to ask him. Yeah.
He's expanding, that old boy is.
Good for him.
Yeah. And then Bobby Fisher has no relevance to. Well, he does too to Seth. Good friend, good family friend. Lake Osceola State Bank still managed by local people. I think it's the only one that is locally run. And Bobby Fisher's been with him for a long, long time. And I believe he played Ferris football too. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But anyway, not that makes him a great guy, but it sure shows a lot. And he's retiring. They're having a thing for him Friday, I think, up in Baldwin there at the bank. So, Bobby Fisher, thanks a lot for everything you've done.
Congratulations.
Yep.
And then who else, Bobby?
Nothing I can think
Curries
of right now.
Hooked.
Yeah,
Now,
good,
Pete
good,
Kent
good,
was
good.
here. He had talked about how great the sandwiches are at Curries.
There you go.
Where the
Big,
reviews
big,
are
big,
great.
big rig. There you
And
go.
we do DoorDash now. We have soups and sandwiches and hamburgers and the whole works. Yeah, double cheeseburger and bacon burger, mushroom burger.
Nice.
We have it all. And then, of course, we have the towing business going strong. I think it's kind of neat that Cam out to Big Rapids Towing and Matt, Cam and I have always been good friends, and Jim Dunkel, that company and us. You know, it's kind of nice when competitors get along good, and I don't think anybody gets along better than Big Rapids Towing and Curry's Towing. We work together on a lot of calls, and we share, and we're not hating each other. And that's kind of nice, isn't it?
Yeah,
When you have
very nice.
businesses that get along like that. And Matt and Cam are carrying that tradition on. So
Good
you
for
need a
them.
wrecker, you call Curry's or Big Rapids Towing. Curry's is better because they're longer. But no, good people.
Now just remember either 5351 for you or
there you go.
2222. So, I keep them both in the speed dial there. So
There you
I
go.
have to go back and forth.
Sure.
So-
Well, you get in the ditch a lot. You're driving too fast.
Yeah,
All right.
well, yeah.
Enough said. Get some music, Bob. What are you going to play?
I was looking, I got to pull up, but I was going to play a Pete song, and I can't.
How about People Are Crazy? That's
I
a
can
good
do
one.
that.
That's a good one.
Give me a minute now. I'll have to go.
That's a good one.
Let's
Close it out
People,
with.
People are crazy. Here we go. Okay, we're going to play that as we close out Curry's Corner here on Tuesday.